Hey there, get your naughty on here. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on Paracord Buddy, the Hulk, and this is going to be the hulked up version. And this was by a customer request that he didn't want the body to be the traditional snake knot that I have been doing. He kind of wanted him to look like he was hulked up, so this is what I came up with. And we're going to get started with materials, and then we'll get started with how to make him. So we're going to start off with the Lego head. This is actually two separate pieces, but since this head is actually it's single faced and it's not double faced, I've went ahead and glued the hair piece onto the head, but that was only after I made a hole through each piece individually. So I make the holes by, this is a 4mm chainsaw file, and what I do is I heat the tip of it up, and then I'll work it through the bottom of the Lego head. And once I kind of get everything, once I get both pieces worked together, and then in this case, after I glued the hair piece onto the head, then I took the chainsaw file and I really just kind of rubbed, just kind of filed all the edges down smoothly. And so, I mean, the whole file fits in there pretty good. So it makes it easier for both sides of the 550 paracord to go through. Sometimes it's depending on the cord and how some cords are a little stiffer than others. So the stiffer ones, sometimes they're they hang on to the head a little tighter. So and then so here we have 2 pieces of 2 feet green paracord. This will cover the loop here. It'll cover the body and then both legs. Then we have 2 pieces of 1 foot green, and I've already got my ends done here for the fit because this part will be just for the arms there. So we will go ahead and get started. And so this is how this starts off, is that this is going to start off with a box knot. Then we're going to switch it over from there to the round crown sinnet. And the reason for that is because if you start off immediately with a round crown, it actually splits these two and it goes on the outside and it makes it look really, really funny. So I think it looks better. It kind of makes him look like he's got, some square shoulders up there. So if you start off with making this first layer as a box knot and then switch it up, then that's how I think it looks better, and it kind of goes through the middle first and not on the outside. So that is, I had to figure out how to recreate that. So we'll go ahead and we will get started on that. So we are going to, so I have my cord is folded in half, and what we want to do is we want to kind of make sure that it doesn't have any twist in it, and we will just kind of hold the 2 cords firmly, and I'll just try to twist the Lego head on there, and then once we get it on there, just pull that all the way up. Maybe leave like 1.5 inches to 2 inches of a loop up there. Now, so when we flip this over, and we are going to make a Z. So, and I apologize, it's probably going to be a little hard for me to try to get this clear. So this is the Z part, okay? So once we got it like this, you want to kind of hold that firmly, and then you want to take your other cord at so got those ends matched up, and all the way here to the halfway point. So once we lay our halfway point over, what we are going to do, I'm trying to make sure that I'm making this as clear as possible. So we're going to start with this bottom one, and we are going to take the bottom end. It's going to go under the end of the Z and then through the top of the Z corner here. Then we are going to take this upper end and we are going to pull it under, and it is going to go through, sorry, this is where it's going to look horrible. It's going to go through the other end there, and I think I got everything crossed up in the bottom. Okay, there we go. So once you start pulling this together, it is actually going to look like you just kind of keep pulling it tight each. Try to hold the knot and then pull your corners. So this is actually what it should look like. So it's almost like, if you kind of hold it that way, it kind of reminds me of like a division sign, you know, dot, and then but you'll have that one cord that's like diagonal. So the other thing is to kind of flip it over and check this part right here, and you'll see that these cords actually run through the middle of that box knot. So then once we have that part, this is where we start with the round crown. So if we look at this, like, because you're going to be going clockwise. So going clockwise, this one's 12, 3, 6, and 9. So if we start at 12, and then if we fold 12 over 3, then we take 3 and we fold it all the way over to 6, and then we take 6 and fold it over to 9. Then we take 9 and we fold it in through between 12 and 3. So when we fold that end is going to go through that loop, and then we're going to pull it tight. If you don't make the loop, everything will just fall back apart. So it's kind of like you have to secure it in that one part. And then we're going to tighten this up. And then this will actually look like 4 corners, or 4 squares, that way. So then we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to go 12 over 3, 3 over 6, 6 over 9, and then 9 is going to go I apologize, I did not keep that tight enough. Then 9 is going to go in this loop between 12 and 3. And then if you can hold your knot with your thumb firmly and then start to pull clockwise, it'll tighten up pretty well. And I think we just need to do 2 more layers of these knots. So we got 12 over 3, 3 over 6, 6 over 9, and then, then 9 between 12 and 3. And then you just pull that. Okay, let's do one more and then we'll see how we compared to the one I did earlier. So we got 12 over 3, 3 over 6, finally, okay, and then 6 over 9, and then 9 between 12 and 3. Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. I think I stretched him out too. So from this point, we're going to go ahead and start with the legs. So, and the legs are snake knots. And so we are going to, I think I'm going to be running close on cordage here. So we're going to take the left one, and that's going to go over the right, under, and you're going to kind of, it's going to look like, if you can make it look like a fish. I'm going to try to see if I can, so you want it to look like a fish. And then you want to take the right one, and it's going to go under. It's going to go between like the tail here in the middle, and then it's going to go through like the mouth part of your fish that you're making there. And then you just, now the legs you have to, like you would want to make sure that they are super snug up against the body. I'm trying to make sure that they're kind of centered there. Okay, so there's the first one. And we're going to do another one, and I'm running really close on cord on this side. So I would say maybe for the one that you are doing, the cord that has the loop incorporated in with it, you might want to add an extra 6 inches to that one. So maybe one cord that measures 2.5 feet, one cord that measures 2 feet, and then the other ones that will be for the arms. Those should be okay. I can't imagine running short on arms with a foot. Okay. Okay, so there is the left leg. Now we're going to go for the right leg. So we got our fish loop there. I apologize, guys. I really try to keep my hands out of the way sometimes, but it just doesn't work out for me sometimes. Yeah, I think I would definitely, I mean, even just a couple more inches, maybe not quite 6 inches, but maybe just a few more inches on the loop. And I guess that just depends on how big you like your loops. So I typically don't like running this close, and it also depends on how tight you've made everything else. Depending on how much you're going to have left over in the end. So now we've got his legs set there. Now we are going to take a a fid, and then wanted the 12-inch pieces for the arms. And once we get it on the fid, we're going to go like under this first, between the first and the second layer, and we're just going to push that all the way through. And then we're going to do the same thing for the second one. Okay, so 3 snake knots for the arms as well. And I wouldn't so much stress on the first arm, getting the snake knot so tight up against the body, because you can really pull that other side over and tighten that up really well. And hopefully the other knot, you're able to get it tight up there too. Okay, so then we can pull this side through, and then start with our snake knots on this side. Okay. We're about done here, guys. So after the last snake knot, you're really just, at this point, you can start clipping your ends and singeing, or what, if you have a preferred method that you do, hiding your ends. So I will say, one of the things that I was doing, when I was looking at this, I was trying to think of maybe other characters that, that this would look okay with. And I think the only other character, maybe 2, would be Patrick Star with, SpongeBob SquarePants, because you could really kind of like make him look like that, out. And then maybe Stay Puffed with the Ghostbusters. I think that's, the only 2 that I can really think of that this would look okay on. I'm just not sure if there's any others that that you could really do this with. So this concludes our Hulk Paracord Buddy. And if you guys have any questions or even have a request, let me know and I will get it done. Hope you guys have a good day. Get your naughty on.